right, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Welcome to the Dukes of Gaming podcast. Sorry for the bad camera angle from my part, but how's everybody doing this week? I am the Duke of Procrastination, Thomas. I hope everybody's having a really, really good week. And joining with me is my fellow Dukes of Gaming. First and foremost, we have the Duke of Design. How are you doing, Ben?
Excellent. Happy to see all your smiling, beautiful faces this week.
Good to be here. Good to be here. And of course, we have the Duke of Rocket League, our champion. How are you doing, Cole?
Doing good. Still champion. I am at a standstill, but I am still champion.
Feels good,
Good
right?
to see y'all tonight. Yeah, it feels great.
Always good to be champion. And of course, we have the Duke of Nostalgia, Mr. Pokemon himself. How are you doing, Taylor?
I like the way you say, of course. You're like, of course. Like, oh, yes. Yeah, you know.
It's obvious. It's obvious, man.
Of course.
Man, it's been a good week for me. Got my new iPhone, so I'm very, very happy.
Yeah.
I had some camera issues, and this iPhone came in clutch. It looks pretty good, in my opinion. So
Looks great.
I'm happy that worked out. Paid $1,000 for it, so it better be a good camera. But I mean, let's kind of get into what we've been playing this week. I know we're gonna lead into our first topic, but let's start with Ben. Have you been playing anything interesting this week, man?
I was telling you and Alfredo this last week, but I jumped into 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, and I don't know that I have that much to say about it yet. I think I'm maybe 2 hours in, so I'm like, I've only scratched the surface. I don't think I'm even out of the tutorial prologue section. But I like it so far. It's interesting, thought-provoking, weird. I am curious about what's going on. But it's more like more visual novel-y than I expected it to be, and I don't hate that. I like visual novels fine, but I was expecting more, I don't know, branching conversation or something a little bit more gamey, whereas right now you're like walking up to people and talking to them in a mostly linear sequence.
It's definitely more of a passive experience of what I played of it.
Yeah. So how much have you played, Thomas?
Honestly, sounds like the same amount as you. I remember my sister came up and she like looked at it on the PlayStation Store. She loves anime, and she was like, "Oh, get that one." And I was like, "Really? All right." And then we played it for like 2 hours, and I didn't hate it, but I've been struggling to go back to it. Do you recommend it as something to maybe go back to?
I don't know. I'll have to let you know once I played some more of it.
Okay.
But it was really highly acclaimed last year as like one of the best stories that came out in a video game last year. So I got to play it.
Right.
It's just a matter of time, and the art is amazing. Vanillaware always knocks it out of the park on that front. So that's getting me through it for right now.
What other stuff have they made?
Dragon's Crown and
really?
Odin Sphere. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, I did not know they made those two games. Okay.
Same studio. Yep.
All right, great lineage then. Okay. Well, I'm more encouraged to check it out. I'm curious to hear your thoughts about it. I'll probably wait to hear once you get farther in the game, because it strikes my alley. Anime game. I mean, me and Alfredo were just talking about some of the best anime games and Japanese games in general. We talked about that earlier this week. Look out for that video as well, y'all. But yeah, I would have loved to have added this to the list, but neither one of us have played it, so I'm very curious.
Sounds like a revised tier list next year.
Maybe it might make that way into between S and D. You never know. So anything else you've been playing besides that?
No, nothing to speak of.
All right, Cole.
So I have been playing Grand Theft Auto, but we're gonna save that for one of the topics of the show. The other thing I did, and I think it's notable, and it's relative to the podcast. And Thomas, you can chime in on this one. You may know what I'm about to say. Me and Thomas, I believe last Monday night or Sunday, we watched Dune in VR together.
Oh, you stole it from me. I was about to say.
Yeah, well, then we'll just hit it together.
Right.
So we used big screen, and we got into big screen. And the way we did it was we shared a file. Thomas had the native file. He sent it to me, which took me about probably 5-6 minutes to download to my PC, and then about 5-6 minutes to download to my Quest. And he could have streamed it, so you can stream in big screen. You can go into his room and he can host a stream, but the quality suffers. And that's the way I've experienced big screen before, is watching, things that people streamed. So the quality wasn't very good. Anyway, we got in there. We hung out in this. We toggled through the movie theaters. We found this movie theater that was like you're in a spaceship. You look up, it's a movie theater, but behind you is like it's like if you're on a movie theater on the Enterprise at Star Trek, and like you were literally on a theater on the spaceship. So it was pretty cool to watch Dune in that. And we got some snacks and just sat there and hung out. And it took us there were some hiccups. It took us about 30 minutes to get it going, but it was really because we had never done it before. Like once we relaunched it or whatever, we did it. It worked pretty flawlessly. And this thing, y'all, was crystal clear. I cannot believe how we were in shock at how good this looked, because we were both watching it natively. So, I mean, the audio was synced perfectly. The audio was great. Literally sounded like you're sitting in a theater. It was beautiful. The screen we even had this conversation. The screen looked better than if you were sitting in a theater. Wait, I can't hear you guys. Can y'all hear me?
Oh, we didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all didn't say anything. I thought I saw Thomas.
We were letting it marinate.
Captivated.
Oh, yeah, let it marinate. Y'all, honestly,
I'm captivated, and I was with you.
I mean, it was phenomenal. Like, it was almost like just another moment in VR that just completely blew me away.
That sounds
because,
cool.
Before it was like, we watched it and it was always, you make sacrifices to stream in VR and sit, but there was none made as far as the audio video perspective. Now the headsets did get a little uncomfortable after a while. My headset was actually using so much power. I had it charging, but it died. So we had to split this into 2 nights. We did the first half and the second half. Because my VR,
it doesn't help that Dune is like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like 3 hours long. What Mark Zuckerberg was saying was the technology is basically there.
It is
for the metaverse. So
I mean, and all we were talking about was like, if you guys had all been there, it would have been a blast. Honestly, it would have been a blast. It is so incredible. I will say, I wish that AltSpace does spatial audio, and Big Screen does not. So it just sounded like me and Thomas were in a party chat. He was his audio was in my ear, whereas AltSpace, he could literally lean in and whisper to me, and you have a conversation more naturally, organically. The presence feels better as far as talking to people.
That technology seems incredible.
AltSpace does
really
it.
Cool.
I mean, me and Thomas were sitting in a bar, like chilling by a bar, and I'd lean in and like whisper to him about something, or like a group would come up to us and we could just talk and look around, and the spatial audio was really compelling. It's incredible. Yeah. But this didn't have that. So that was one thing I wish it had. But other than that, it was an awesome experience. And it was like, we want to try to do it like once a week now. That's how incredible it was.
Yeah,
Thomas,
what
do you think?
My movie library, we could do it once a week till we die. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I was watching. This is my prime time way to watch anime now. I'm watching anime in my movie theater, my personal movie theater.
When I get my Oculus, can we watch Black Dynamite? That would make my life. Oh my god!
We got to get the whole crew.
You didn't have to ask that. You didn't have to ask that, man. That will be the first movie we watch when you get it.
Hell yeah!
And we're gonna watch some Pokemon movies as well, because I'm a big fan of some Pokemon movies. I have those downloaded already.
Cheese, but they're fun.
Oh man, I'm jealous, guys. I was like, is Big Screen available for PSVR? I looked it up.
As soon as you said it, Ben, I looked it up. I was like, let's get Ben in this if he can get in it. So I looked it up. I was like, oh man.
I looked it up.
Hopefully it joins the fold. I don't think it'd be too hard.
Ben, you just got to bite the bullet, man. You got to get the Quest.
I know. And they said in like, in the meta, the Connect, they said that they were exploring ways for you not to have your Facebook account logged in to Quest. Like literally that's the thing stopping me at this point, because I don't have a Facebook account and I don't want a Facebook account.
Does your wife have Facebook? You could use hers.
No. We like a couple years ago, we both deleted our Facebook accounts.
Very
I super respect that.
I just don't want it to like be giving my data to this company. I don't mind. Frankly, I don't mind giving them my VR data, but like my other, more personal stuff, I just don't want to do that. And I remember when the Quest 2 first came out, there was more arduous steps than like just having a Facebook account. You had to have a Facebook account and it had to have friends.
Yeah.
Because they had to be able to use it to verify that you were a real person. That was the thing.
You couldn't just make these throwaway accounts. They wouldn't.
Yeah,
work.
exactly. Yeah. So there was no way for me to make a throwaway.
God, Facebook's
so that was the deal breaker.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Meta's the worst. God, that's
So-
stupid.
Yeah. It sounded like they were, saying essentially that they were going to roll that back.
Now you could go with a Rift or a Valve or the HTC Vive or something like that, and big screen's compatible with all those too with PC.
Yeah, I could get a PC VR headset. The thing is, like, my PC is not great.
Powerful. Yeah.
So I would want, if I'm going to get another VR headset, I already know I'm going to get the PSVR too. So if I was going to get one on top of that, I would want it to be a standalone.
Yeah.
But
and
I don't know.
And the way you can use, because it's crazy the amount of content that's in these public rooms of big screen. I am shocked that none of it gets, copywritten. I'm
Me
very
too.
shocked.
Well, I think that's why it's not on PlayStation. I don't think it's.
And that's what I was about to say, right. That's probably the reason why. Because the amount, because you could go in there and they're doing public screenings. I'm like, this is not.
Well,
This is
I was
not
watching
legal.
when you logged off the other night, Thomas. I popped into Halloween Kills, and we were all watching it at a campfire. The new Halloween movie. It was really
Like,
cool.
Columbia Pictures is not happy about that.
NFL Sunday Night Football was on there too. Like everybody was just watching Sunday Night Football.
What?
Yeah.
Roger Goodell's kicking and
football,
screaming. Like
the NFL
I
is
know
one of-
this is. That's the reason why it's not on PlayStation VR. That's for sure, right, Ben?
Dang,
a good
that's
point.
that's actually pretty impressive because I know the NFL is incredibly
Oh,
strict.
well, they had the McGregor fight, y'all. When the last McGregor fight was in VR in big rooms too. People were sitting there watching the UFC fight.
You try to watch, like you watch gamers or movie review artists or whatever, and they'll show footage of their stuff. You look at people who dissect like NFL plays, they will not put any of the NFL footage in their videos. It's just one stupid dude talking to the camera for like 30 minutes.
The difference is those people are trying to monetize it because when you're on YouTube, you're trying to get money in some sort of way.
Yeah.
With these big screen people, there's no money in this
Just
as
doing
far
it.
as I can
Yeah,
see.
just
So I
for
think people, it's the same thing with, I might or might not know the torrent community. And these people will just put stuff out. There's no like, you're not getting any money for this. It's just you want the community to grow. And so I think that's more what big stream is, and I can see why Sony's completely against that.
I'll be honest. I love you, torrents. good on you, torrent. Allegedly, I love you, torrent. That's what people tell me.
Taylor, what have you been playing? Oh, I'm sorry, Cole. Was that the only thing you played this week?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Taylor, what have you been playing this
Didn't
week?
play a lot. I've been busy, but I did play something a little bit that is actually the only reason I know any of you. The game that is the reason I know Ben, Cole, and Thomas right here.
Hold on, can we guess this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Guess which
a lot of
game.
pressure on this game.
Guess which game led me to knowing you. Go.
Give us a slight, really subtle hint.
I showed up to work one day and talked to one of our OG founders about this game.
It's got to be a Nintendo game.
Not technically, it's on Nintendo, but it's not an exclusive.
Is it a new game or is it like not even a new game? But is it like a modern game or is it?
It's a modern game based on like a nostalgic franchise. A nostalgic franchise that released exclusively on the Game Boy Color.
God.
Okay, I'm out. I don't know.
It is Thomas.
I'm out.
Okay. Shantae, the half genie. Shantae, the half genie.
We would have been here
hero.
all night.
What? Yeah, no, I never would have guessed.
I've been here all night. Yes, I never.
This has been a boring stream.
Specifically, the one that is on the Switch, the half genie hero.
Okay.
Because I talked to one of our founding members about it, in a physical location, and I pulled it out because of a lot of the drama and vitriol surrounding Metroid recently, because people are either really in love with that game, Dread, or really hate Dread. I'm like, I really love Dread. What's wrong with this? And people
Shots
were
at Alfredo.
and so a lot of people on some like forums and stuff are talking about like how, even Shantae, a Metroidvania, is better than Metroid Dread, and I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. You're lying to yourself. You're being contrarian, and so I went and played a little because I liked Shantae. I think it's a really nice starter Metroidvania. It is really easy. It's really chill, and it gives you that really quick like adrenaline rush of like feeling like you accomplished something. It's really quick to collect all 100% of the game. It's really quick to do all that. It gives you that very easily. I like Shantae. It's aesthetically pleasing. Wink. It's mechanically interesting. I think there's some cool usage because of how slow it plays. You can really play with mechanics in very unique ways. The transformation mechanic is really neat, and what mechanics that opens up for you is really neat. The story is stupid and boring, but it's a Metroidvania. I played a little bit of it, and I'm like, yeah, this game is pretty. It's for babies, but it's fun. It's still fun. It's still a neat game that was made. It's baby's first Metroidvania, and I don't think anyone who says it's as good as Metroid Dread is right. They're all stupid.
Is the one you played? Is that the latest entry in the series?
No, there's one newer. It's the second newest. But I after buying it for the Switch, I was like, I like as a collector of video games. I own the original Metroid for Game Boy, because it's so rare. I wanted it, and I'm like, it's a good game on Game Boy. It's a good game on Game Boy, but when you level it up to modern era games of the same caliber, like I sit there and I look at the Switch and I'm like, what can I play that's just on my Switch? I've got Celeste, or I've got
Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight, and I'm like, there's nothing making me want to play Shantae.
Sure.
So it's perfectly good. I like the Shantae series. I like that it exists. It's an entryway into a really cool genre of video games. But it's not hard. It's not complicated. It's like Pokemon is for RPGs. It's not hard. It's not complicated. It's just it gets you ready for more complex RPGs. So I appreciate it for that. But that's what I played this week.
Fair enough. And just for me, Metroid Dread, I actually beat it. I would assume that Metroid Dread's better than Shantae, but I'm gonna have to play Shantae. I'll have to play Shantae and give it a whirl, because I do have some more issues with Metroid Dread, but I'd still overall come out of it thinking it was a quality experience.
Oh, yeah.
Just shouldn't have been $60.
I disagree, but we can argue about that another day.
Yeah, I think we should have a spoiler discussion at some point. But we'll figure that out. As far as what I've been playing, I can definitely say that I've been playing a lot of Forza. I reached the Hall of Fame, which kind of shocked me. Did not think I played that much of the game, but as soon as you qualified for the Hall of Fame, I'm like, oh.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
That means that I've completed enough races that I have essentially finished the game.
Okay.
Now, I still have story stuff to do, but they don't care about the story stuff in FIFA. I'm sorry, FIFA. Forza. They don't care about it per se. Like, it's like stuff you can do, but it doesn't matter to you completing the game. So I still have that to do, and they're just dropping seasonal content now. So there's always something to do, but
getting to the Hall of Fame is like the primary pursuit of the game.
It's like in Destiny, like you reach level 30.
Sure.
And it's like, all right, you're good, but there's
more to do. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, all right, let me put this game down for a little bit. It will always be here. Let me kind of venture out. Obviously, I played Grand Theft Auto, but we'll talk about that in a second. I got on Friday this game that I have been waiting 5 years for, or 4.5 probably, since the Switch was originally announced. one of the labels that was on. You remember that banner that they posted that like had all the developers that were working on games for the Switch?
Yeah, yeah.
And
No.
so one of the developers that was sitting there was Atlas Games.
Right.
Atlas made one of my favorite games of all time, Persona 5, which I begrudgingly had to put lower than I wanted to on my Japanese tier list, but we'll talk about that another day. Persona 5 is one of my favorite games ever. Persona 5 Royal is just more addition to that. I'll always look forward to those games on Switch. I don't think they're coming, but I think I got the next best thing. I got Shin Megami Tensei 5. It has finally released. It came in the most beautiful steelbook I have ever seen. Like I am probably even if this game at the end I don't love, this steelbook just looks incredible. I'll always just have it around. As far as the game, I've gotten about 2 hours in, and it starts very Persona-like. Like you're in a classroom, and then literally like maybe 20 minutes later, you're just in hell now. Like hell's just here, and this is the game. Like you're never headed back to that classroom ever again. It was almost like it was literally like a wink and a nod saying, "This is not Persona. Strap
Yeah.
in." That's literally what it seemed like to me because it was so similar to the classroom setting in Persona. It was like almost on the nose. So I was very taken aback by that, but almost in a good way. Because if I wanted Persona, I'd just play Persona over again.
Yeah.
This seems like a different experience. It looks beautiful, but at the same time, very unoptimized on the Switch. It seems like it's moving at like 25 frames per second, which isn't great, isn't the greatest thing in the world. But the art style carries it a long way. Graphically, it looks impressive. So I'm very curious as to what this game is going to be. I'm headed to Miami on Wednesday, so I know I'm going to put like maybe 3 hours of gameplay on that flight. So I can't wait to really dive deep and more into this game. And completed Guardians of the Galaxy as well. So I got that done out the way.
Nice.
So let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's get into it. GTA, the trilogy, the definitive edition. The worst name since one of the Final Fantasy, one of the horrible Final Fantasy names, or one of the Kingdom Hearts
Kingdom
games.
Hearts,
It's up there. It's up there. It's a horrible, horrible, horrible name.
Double colon.
Double colon. It's just horrible. But it's out. It came out on Friday. It is on most platforms, I believe. I don't think there's a platform that was missed. Maybe the PS3, but it is on Switch, Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, you name it. And every single platform is having varying issues. And I know, Ben, you haven't touched it yet. Taylor, you haven't touched it yet.
I'm never gonna touch it.
Never going to touch it. I don't blame you.
I was really, really on the fence, and I was looking at a lot of footage and trying to find reviews and to determine whether or not I should buy it.
And now you're looking at the fences, looking at me and Cole.
Yeah, I ultimately passed on it, but I really want to know what you guys think.
I think we're going to be on two different sides of the fence.
We'll see. So I got it for free via Game Pass. I've been playing it on my Xbox Series X. So theoretically, this should be one of the best available versions in terms of how it looks and runs. Cole, you played it on Switch, so I'll let you start.
Okay.
Which game in the collection have you played?
All
And what do
three.
you think? So, okay. What do
I
you
play
think?
all three, and I think they're pretty good.
Okay.
Actually, I think they're really good. I think this is kind of like you think about all this hullabaloo with hullabaloo is the only word I can think of. I don't know where that came from, but Georgia. Anyway, all the hullabaloo with the Cyberpunk. But Thomas, you remember you enjoyed Cyberpunk
I did.
quite well,
One of my games of the year.
And
that
everybody was searching for the glitches and all this stuff. I've played probably 4 or 5 hours, and I haven't seen hardly any glitches at all. I've had a very good experience. The frame rate is not, to me, it's like it's better than it was on PS2, but it's not ideal. But I mean, it's still like very playable. And to me, it's the best version of GTA 3 and Vice City and San Andreas that I've ever played. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by how good it looked. Now I haven't played in the rain yet. I've seen these videos of where in the rain it looks terrible, and like that's something that would be constant for everybody because it just looks like the rain is just awful. But these little glitches,
the rain effect is just migraine inducing.
Yeah. And now it's just one of these things where anytime anybody gets a glitch, they're going to record it and upload it to the internet.
Yeah.
But So I mean, I'm not saying that it's not there, and there's the translation issues. Have y'all seen those where like some of the words it was like an AI system or something, and they replaced the words. One of them was like it was like a hot dog sign, and it was like come and taste instead of man's meat, man's best meat. It's come and taste the man's heat.
Okay, yeah, I did see
Come
some
and
of those.
taste the
Like,
man's meat is like come and taste the man's heat because
yeah,
the AI program read the M as an H, and like there's all
yeah.
these weird things like
There was
that.
one of those with like, uh, there was a music shop that said they used to say air guitars $100, and now it says AR guitars because it just combined the I and the R.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was definitely some AI upscaling of textures that
yeah.
told
But
some jokes.
you know, the controls shocked me at how much I like them. It feels really good. I think the game controls awesome. The graphics are way better than I thought they would be when this thing got released. Remember, I told you guys I thought this was going to be just an upscale and that's it. The textures, the sky looks a lot better. The clouds, the atmospheric effects look awesome. I thought the lighting is a lot better than it was last time we played these games. Um, on Switch, I love the way that it's not like Mario 3D All Stars, where it just loads you into the game. Then you have to select the game. It gives you
Additional
the
files.
tiles, the
Yeah.
individual tiles for the game. I don't know if you can see it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice too
Anyway.
because you can install them individually.
yeah, and they look nice too. You got Grand Theft Auto 3, then you get the Vice City. You know, it looks all 80s, and then San Andreas kind of like 90s look.
That's
Um,
pretty nice. Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
kind of
so-
shocked at how good, honestly, how good I thought they were. If I had not have had access to the internet and have not read anyone else's impressions, I would have been totally like, "Hey, $60. This is good. This is a good port. $20 a game. It's great." I mean, I wouldn't have had any issues. I probably never would have noticed any of those typos or anything, you know, on the sandwich shop. but anyway, what do you think, Thomas?
So I don't think I'm polar opposite of you because I tried to experience it the same way. I downloaded it as soon as it was available because I just had a really slow day at work, so I couldn't have had any internet perceptions just because I downloaded it literally at the time everybody else had access, and they withheld codes from IGN and everything, so there was no reviews out even.
Yeah,
So yeah, I tried to experience it as naturally as possible, and I can definitely say I had a good time. I'm going to continue to play it every now and then. I just don't think these games have aged as well as I thought they would, even with the remaster. Like, I looked at San Andreas as a masterpiece, and I no longer feel that way. Just playing through it, it's just like, and I can't say this is a super horrible port. I've seen way worse ports. But part of me thinks I would have preferred it if they did not change the art style. Because the art style is very hit or miss. Like sometimes it can look very good. Like I think I play San Andreas just because I had it on Game Pass. I haven't bought the game, I only have it on Game Pass. CJ from San Andreas, the main character, he looks good.
Yeah.
All his friends look horrible. They look horrible. Like I don't know what happened.
But I
Like
mean,
his brother looks like an alien. Like
Yeah, they do.
I don't know what happened there. Like he literally his eyes are just shut. His eyes are just shut. Like it's just horrible. I'm gonna show you this picture. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up well. This is a comparison of the old and the new one. Oh wow. So
It looks like that viral dude with no neck. Have you ever seen that viral guy that doesn't have a neck? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
So it's like, oh, and that picture just by itself, and look, that's obviously they pinpointed that specific,
Yeah.
image, but like that looks horrible to me.
But y'all, I remember like these games. They always looked wacky. Like the fingers on the Grand Theft Auto characters, and like all this stuff looked so wacky. To me, it was all about the gameplay and stuff. And like, yeah, I could just deal with that. It just didn't bother me that much. I see why some people it would, but I will say it looks incredible. The resolution looks awesome on the Switch. Like it's a really pretty. I think it's really pretty on the Switch. But I plugged it into my dock and watched it on my 4K. And oh boy, it did not
Blurry?
look good. It was blurry. It was
It's,
it was blurry.
good.
It's like a 1080p game playing on your 4K. You know, it looks.
yeah, I from what I've seen, it looks like it's outputting 720 on the TV, and
Really?
it's sub 720 when you're playing handheld, so it's like around 540.
It was supposed to be. I read that it was supposed to be 1080 on the TV and 720 on handheld,
Mm.
but on Switch. But it doesn't. You're right. It looks like it's 720 on TV for sure. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, and I just feel that I'm glad this exists. I'm not glad they took the old ones off the marketplace. Not glad about that, because if you're going to do that
It's like
and
George
you're going to
Lucas.
call this the definitive edition, it needs to, I don't think you needed to take them off.
You better make it good.
Yeah, like I just don't think that was necessary, because it has more bugs than the original, it seems. And it's like, if you're going to release something and you're calling it the definitive edition and it's worse in a lot of ways, like, why'd you take it off in the first place? I just don't understand the rationale behind that.
I know. A lot of people are saying, hey, like this destroyed Rockstar's credibility and stuff like that. I don't think it does, because this isn't Rockstar. Cyberpunk was CD Projekt's. That was their game, and they had all those issues with it. Rockstar didn't touch this. It was a company that they bought. What do y'all? How do y'all feel about that?
I'm halfway with you. If they had the final say.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
If they don't like what it looks like, they're not going to release it. Like, they approved it. And look, that's fine. I don't think it's a horrible port by any means. But I just feel, if you're going to do this, keep the old games on there. Because that's my only critique about it. I don't think it's a big deal that I think it doesn't seem rushed to me per se. I saw that criticism a lot online. I don't see rushed. I just see bugs, just random little bugs. It just seems very janky. And I mean, I'm trying to look at it with a certain frame of mind, because if there were bugs in the original releases, I don't remember them, and I was a kid when that came out. So it could very well be that I'm just putting this at an unfair standard. That's very possible.
I'm a strong believer of gameplay and fun over visuals, but it's hard to tell sometimes with remakes whether or not a bug was in the original game or not, because you've got that nostalgic, lens over your eyes where you're like, oh, I remember this better. Do you remember it better, or are you just not as in tune with reality? I like the GTA games. My thing is, I plug into a video game, I don't expect it to be immersive. I never do. As much as people like to throw around the word, it's an immersive gameplay. I'm like, is it? I'm driving around knocking people over. I'm driving my Jeep into the woods and like hunting Bigfoot. Like, it's not immersive. It's entertaining. To me. I understand that some people get really immersed into it, but at the end of the day, if it's fun, if you're having fun, keep having fun. Whatever.
I think I think it's true.
I really needed two things from these games. I really needed two things. And so I want to know, because I know one of them is missing. But one of them is, I needed these games to play better than the old games.
That's checked.
Considerably. So there's two ways to look at this. How does it compare to the original games? How does it feel compared to that? And then how does it feel compared to modern games? So
it depends on what you mean, because I used to remember this on PS2 taking 2 minutes, Cole. 2 minutes to load in, maybe more. Like, it took a long time for the complete game to load.
It was about the same time it took Grand Theft Auto on the PS4. So a long time.
GTA 5,
that was a long time.
Yeah,
so
it took a long time.
2 minutes. Yeah.
This is 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's
like
quick.
2 seconds. So that alone is just great. that's expected, but it's great. I'm not gonna, that's a positive. Um, Shooting feels fine. Like I don't hate the shooting. I like it a lot better than the old control scheme. It definitely is not GTA 5 shooting, but I
But
wouldn't
it's
want it to be
close.
because that'd make the game easier.
Yeah, it's close though. You
Yeah.
hold L2 and you have like a circle. I don't know if you remember the old way of Grand Theft Auto. If you haven't played it in a
Yeah.
while,
Yeah.
you literally click and it will
The
automatically
lock
target
on,
you
yeah.
to the first person. It's not like that anymore. You have a free aim, and if you get close to them, then it will lock on. So it's actually nice. I mean, I was shocked by how good the game felt. The driving on foot controls I thought felt really good and very very close to GTA 5. Like when
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
thought I think
the
car
driving is
control's still good.
awesome.
Yeah.
The driving
Car
feels
control's still
great.
really good too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that to me is the best. That paired with the fact of, hey, at the end of the day, it's the better controls. The resolution is better. The lighting's better. Um, Overall, I mean, to me, it's a big improvement, and I welcome it. I mean,
The other thing I needed from these remasters of PS2 games was a solid frame rate, good performance, and that
On
is
what? On what? On what
on my
console?
PS5. On my PS5,
Oh, it's you're gonna get a good frame rate. I haven't experienced any
I
bad frame rate issues.
I've
in
seen
my
a
opinion.
lot of frame rate drops on PS5 and Xbox Series X when high action kicks in, which is I would excuse it for the PS5 version of GTA 5, even though that's a 7-year-old game, 8-year-old game. But these are 20-year-old games, and even though they're remastered, it's like, come on, you can't hold frame rate for 20-year-old games on the PS5. That's crazy, and that's something that I feel like they gotta fix in that patch. That's the bare
yeah,
minimum.
I agree.
Some of these things I think are beyond fixing. I think some of the art and
Yeah,
the the removal of the songs that people are pissed about and all that kind of stuff. There's only so much you can do, right? And you got to when you got a time crunch, that kind of stuff. But to me, it is unexcusable to remaster 20-year-old games and still not be able to hold frame rate.
I agree for them 100%. I fixed my camera.
So yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing that's really bugging me, and I hope that they fix that in a patch. I think I will definitely play these eventually because I was looking forward to them. I do, I do want to experience these games. I do want to.
Do you have a Switch? You do, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I do.
So why would you want to play this on your PS5 as opposed to like a Switch?
Because I want optimal gameplay. I want
The best
60
experience.
FPS.
So my thinking on that is that I got on the Switch because if I wanted to play GTA on my PS5, I would go to GTA 5 because I feel like that is the optimal Grand Theft Auto experience. So I have this. I feel like it's awesome to be able to have these 3 games that look really good on my Switch for the go. I couldn't see myself sitting down wanting to replay these games on my PS5. But I understand people that do. But
yeah, I want to play them for the story campaigns, though.
yeah. Have you ever played them before all the way through?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I would say here's the
Vice
thing, man.
Cities.
I would say temper your expectations on the story, because I thought that Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was a really great story when I was younger.
Yeah.
Playing through it now, and maybe it's because I have just been through more life experiences. Because it's not to say that I grew up in the hood per se, but I have a lot of family who live in different situations. I've been a part of, so I've been around that environment. And this game comes off more. I don't know if do y'all know the Wayans brothers?
Yeah.
Do you remember the movie Don't Be a Menace to the long title one?
While drinking something in the
Yes,
in the
that
hood.
one. This comes off more like that than Menace to Society. And I never realized that as a kid. It comes off more as a silly parody.
Yeah.
And kind of cringy at a lot of times too.
isn't it though? Isn't that sort of what GTA is going for? That's I've never
Not that
because
I'm gone for that. I just don't think it hit it. It's not like a good satire to me.
okay, I'm gonna say something controversial to Cole.
Okay.
To Cole.
Oh no,
Um,
he's going for the heart, y'all.
Go for
He's
the
going-
jugular.
I'm sensitive about this. Tread lightly.
GTA 5 is a fun game to play, but the characters are stupid.
It's the Fast and Furious of video games.
It's the Fast and Furious of video games. The characters are the stupidest, most two-dimensional. The line I remember the most.
Hey, Franklin's not stupid. Franklin is not stupid.
Franklin's not stupid.
Franklin's the
Yeah,
only sane person.
But Taylor,
Yeah.
you do got to
Yeah.
He's
remember.
the everyman. He's the everyman. He's the best character to play as too.
No, but that's what I'm gonna say real quick. The one line I remember from GTA 5's story is you're driving around as what was the main white guy's name?
Michael.
Michael. You're driving around with Michael, and you've picked up Trevor, and Trevor goes to Michael, all these fucking hipsters. I hate hipsters. And I'm like, God damn. And this whole what the reality of what GTA is really exemplified if you listen to the radio enough. If you switch around to the radio stations enough and you just start listening to like the shock jocks on the radio in GTA 5, you're like, oh, this game is cringy as hell. Like GTA 5's dialogue and characters and story beats are really fucking stupid when you get to the bottom of them.
But
Yeah. Now, and I will say that's. I'm not going to argue with you against that because that's not why I say
No.
Grand Theft Auto is the best game of all time.
No,
Is
no, no,
The
no.
story and the characters are not, to me, not even in.
But
I don't even consider that.
But I'll
good
I'll go
part.
back to something else you said earlier, which is like, oh, this is oh shoot, what did you say? This is something against the developer.
Rockstar.
This is against Rockstar. Because you get to Red Dead Redemption 2, which I think has a much more mature, much more engaging story.
basically Deadwood, the video game.
Oh yeah, like I think it's you can have both. You can have a silly, campy, nonsense, cringy comedy, which is Grand Theft Auto. Everything, yes, Grand Theft Auto is not like the most hard-hitting political commentary. It's very in your face, social, political, doesn't matter. It's just right there. It's South Park. It's South Parky commentary. Where it's not groundbreaking, but it's loud and obnoxious.
I just want to give you a gameplay scenario that I encountered that I thought was cool as a kid, and playing through it today, I'm just like, what are we doing?
I know
So,
what it is. I know. It's
we
in five.
start the mission with all of our crew together. Our gang is together, and then the leader of the gang is like, "There's a lot of drug dealing going on in the streets. Let's go do drive-bys and murder all the drug dealers." And we just literally, and this is to teach me the driving controls.
It is
We
a
literally
drug.
just go around.
Why not?
We go around, not lying, like 2 turns and just start mowing people down.
It
2
is a-
turns mowing other people, and I'm just like, this is not even a parody at this stage. Like, what are we doing right now? Like that was. I never realized how stupid that was as a kid.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had never encountered any drugs when I was a kid or any drug deals when I was a kid.
Right.
So like,
It's
crazy.
like the Wizard of Oz. You've seen past the thing, and you're like, oh, a drug deal is like, hey, you want some drugs? Here's $50. I'll give you some drugs. And it's like weird and awkward, and it's not at all badass. It's just sort of like odd. But the older I get, the more I understand moms against gaming on Facebook.
Look,
I don't know, man. Like,
look. I think
there's just so many moments in at least in San Andreas. I can't speak to Vice City. I never played Vice City. I never played 3.
You've never played Vice City? See, Vice City is the best story to me.
See,
but,
I've played Vice City in regards to I ran away from the cops in Vice City,
Which-
but
yeah,
I've never gotten into the story of it. No,
Which is the game with Gay Tony?
that's
a 4.
It's 4. So, I mean,
That's
like,
4 DLC,
You got
actually.
a
Ballad of
character
Gay Tony.
named Gay Tony. I mean, like this series is like nonsense.
Wait, was he gay? Or
Yeah.
Was Gay Tony gay? Well, that's our game theory for the week. We'll discuss that in depth in the coming days. But
Look, now, Taylor, I'm not going to argue back. I've never once said that Grand Theft Auto was special because of the story of the characters. I
Sure.
don't think that. I think
4 is
it's
special because of the story.
Yeah.
I'll put that out.
you do mention an important point. Franklin in 5 is such a general normal character that anyone can slip. He's the everyman, and a lot of GTA's don't have that. So I got to give GTA 5 credit for having that character who's just trying to be normal.
Well, and that's kind of what they're
Nico
doing with the 3.
was that in 4?
Oh, I guess that's true, but like Franklin's a normal name. Again, with the naming
Right.
motifs. I mean,
Well, I think a lot of people that played GTA 5, when they went on those crazy rampages, they would just play as Trevor and just go off the handle.
oh yeah, because that's how GTA wants
how
you to
you-
play. That's how they
Yeah.
want you to enjoy.
He is the
game.
character. He's the caricature of GTA.
Yeah.
Like he's what you expect when you think GTA. You think
Oh,
Trevor.
You know, that's actually very true. That is he is the mascot for GTA.
Yeah, you're right. That's how people
Yeah.
play GTA. They play like Trevor.
Now, just
Tim,
to
wait.
move on a little bit, but still an important point. So GTA also launched on PC, or did it? Because it is unable to be played by anybody who bought the game. And in fact, the Rockstar launcher is not even working. So games like Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 5, all these games are not able to be played.
Okay, so do y'all think that this is going to be a reflection on Rockstar as a company, like it was like CD Projekt Red, or no?
No,
Feel like this, Rockstar is already trending negatively. So
Yeah, I know.
this didn't help.
no.
No, I'm not saying it's not CD Projekt Red terrible, but I can't say they're on an upswing.
No.
The only reason they're on a downswing is because GTA 6 hadn't dropped a trailer and the internet's pissed off about it.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
Well, GTA 5 is dropping its 3rd remaster that looks the exact same as well.
you're right.
There is no way you can talk to someone who has any credibility and have them say, "Oh yeah, their Rockstar's not good. You know, they made Red Dead Redemption 2, and they've kind of been fumbling with GTA." You know, the Red Dead games and the GTA games are incredible. You just looking at them from an outside perspective, they're like, those are some really impressive games.
Those games are 2 of the best games of their respective generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
So-
sure. Like that is unarguable.
I mean, it's almost like a new, like, a 5A game.
It doesn't.
You know, you got the AAA. It's like its own league of its own.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they're on a downward like popularity spectrum. They're still going to release GTA 6 or something in the future that will bring them right back up. I don't
sure.
think that's an important conversation to have.
I agree with you overall. Like, yeah, no, they could if they're getting too much bad press, just release a GTA 6 teaser trailer. You're gonna get everybody back on your side again.
Hell,
So I definitely agree with you on that.
Sometimes you just got to make money.
This just seemed like such a. I don't like. I'm happy this exists, but it seems almost right now like it's more trouble than it was worth.
Well, can someone explain to me the coffee sex thing?
Cole, you're a master of Grand Theft Auto. It's the coffee
What's
sex
the coffee
thing.
sex thing?
The coffee sex thing was was it not in there? It wasn't in the original version of San Andreas.
No,
It was like
it wasn't. Yeah.
it was the next version, whatever that was. Was it maybe the Xbox version? Maybe that's what it was.
It was always in the game files.
Okay.
It was always there, but it was not discovered until it was released on PC because the PC, is more hackable. So it was found in the game files and kind of resurrected, which is why it was known as the hot coffee mod for a while, because you had to mod the game in order to get the files back.
And it was titled like hot coffee in the files, right?
Yeah,
it
was because it was like the end of a quest where you like romanced some woman and then she invites you in for coffee, and the coffee is just a code word.
My problem.
For pussy.
Was that such?
Yeah,
was that
so
bad? Was that so bad? Looking back on that,
Oh yeah.
It's
we're killing prostitutes here.
Yeah.
People can't have consensual sex.
Well,
I don't. It just that always to me seems so stupid. But maybe I'm wrong.
Now that you mention the whole opening of being, let's just go to a shooting. Let's kill some people on the side of the street. Tutorial.
We're in a tutorial here.
I assume to get rid of that was not to placate like normal people who would play GTA. It's to placate the moms. It is really there's violence, but there's no sex. Violence is, you can separate the violence from reality, because it's a video game. Sex, you're a horny little boy, what you gonna do? So I assume removing the sex was to placate someone.
If I recall, they removed it because they thought that it was going to be too graphic for them to make their rating, their M rating, which is absolutely vital to be able to be stocked on store shelves.
Yeah.
And you also have to remember, I mean, the whole controversy was just like the cherry on top of the existing GTA controversy, which started with 3. Even it started with the first 2 games, though, to a much lesser degree because they were much smaller. It was not, like, people were already looking for a reason to make an example of GTA as the game that's a bad influence on your children.
I mean,
so the fact that those files existed in the game was just like,
let's be fair. Yeah. Let's be completely fair. There are 2 types of people that play Grand Theft Auto. There are gamers who enjoy gaming and playing games that are good, and then there's sociopaths. The first time
nothing in between.
There's nothing in between. The first time I played Grand Theft Auto, and I'm not saying my mom was right, but she was all against Grand Theft Auto. She was like, it's bad for your soul or whatever. The first time I played it was with my second cousin. And I'm surprised he hasn't murdered anyone at this point, if I'm completely honest. The dude was insane. I was watching him play Grand Theft Auto, and now thinking back at it, I'm like, these were warning signs. What's going on? The way he played it was so different than how, like, I assume normal people play it, where he went in specifically with the intent of, like, mowing down as many people as he could. I'm like, you're the reason people don't like this game. So.
I think more accurately, there's the 2 types of people who play Grand Theft Auto: people who murder everybody and the people who obey traffic laws.
See, that's funny because my friend who I used to play it with, he was on the opposite spectrum. He would obey the traffic laws, like to the point where he's stopping at the red lights. I'm like, bro, because we're playing like turns. Like as soon as you die, like it's my time. I'm like, yo, you need to hurry this up. You can't be just sitting at the stoplight. Like, come on now.
Dude, this is so funny. This is bringing back what you say, Taylor, and like the way you can think about people in your life that you've seen play Grand Theft Auto. And I remember having a friend that told me that he would just get a white van and he would cruise around and he would murder one specific kind of pedestrian. And then and he would go and try to find them in secluded places. And he would only
van?
Yeah, he'd get the Rumpo. It was called the Rumpo.
DC Sniper? That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh no, really? That was when that happened, y'all. I'm serious.
Oh my God.
It's when that was his inspiration, which is terrible.
My God.
He would find people that had the like a certain NPC skin, and he'd wait till they were in like secluded places, and he would like snipe them and take them out. It's absurd.
Dude's a menace.
Yeah, I don't know if the world can handle GTA 6. Maybe that's why they're not even releasing it, because, I don't know. I don't know if we can handle it now, like outrage culture and stuff.
Like MAGA rallies and
yeah.
MAGA rallies, Biden rallies, all this. Like, I don't know what they could do for
Dude,
GTA 6.
imagine putting it in Washington D.C. and playing with the whole political
Well,
spectrum. God,
if
they would be
Far-
so
You could run over
no,
protesters. Like, oh no.
If Far Cry can put out a game like Far Cry 6 and have absolutely no one play it, then like why couldn't Grand Theft Auto?
And Grand Theft Auto won't set attention too.
How come?
They won't.
This is just a side note because I've always put Far Cry in the same category. I've put GTA. How come everyone forgot GTA 6 dropped, or Far Cry 6 dropped? Like where did that go?
Because Far Cry 6, I mean, there's not controversy behind Far Cry 6, right?
Well, no, but it was trying to be controversial. It was like about a
Well, it was the cockfighting, and it's taking place in Cuba.
yeah.
But I feel like that's tame controversy. You're not killing prostitutes. I feel like and Grand Theft Auto is just known as the controversial game.
But there's something to be said there. Like if Far Cry puts out a game that's trying to be controversial, no one talks about it. No one cares. It's probably a good game. I like the Far Cry games. They're all really good. I can't wait to play it. But GTA puts out a game, it is just controversial. And
Ubisoft needs another franchise.
It gets so much publicity because of that. Like
They need another game that, because I don't think Far Cry could ever do that.
It's probably also controversial because the game is so popular too.
And it's so like relatable.
Yeah.
Like every one of the GTA games take place within a certain time frame in a city that you can identify.
Yeah.
Like Los Santos is LA.
Or you got New York and
Liberty City is New York, like you're in Miami. Like you're in these real places, and there's always some sort of like, relatable missions. So I get why it's controversial. Far Cry honestly usually takes place in like some
weird place. But you know what I liked about Far Cry 5 was the fact that it took place in what really felt like Minnesota or like very northern middle of America. The Ozarks. It felt like the Ozarks. It had that feel. Like you play Far Cry 4, you're like, I'm in Asia somewhere, who cares? Doesn't matter. You play Far Cry 3, you're on an island somewhere, who cares? But Far Cry 5 was really just like, here is very specifically, they were being political, and that's why I think it's the best one. They were being really political about like, here's a cult in the center of America,
I definitely see what you're saying. I think that the next Far Cry should take place in Jonestown. But
why not?
We'll get to that when we get to hopefully get that Far Cry 7.
You know what? We're talking about how we play GTA 5. This is real quick. You know how I play GTA 5. I put on the radio to that Mexican station. It goes bop 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 ba bop 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 bop, and I just mow down people like I'm just driving real fast. I'm killing everyone I can. It's great. Not a warning sign.
Not a warning sign. Just taking out some stress.
Just taking out some stress.
Yeah. So, but who also wants to mow down some people right now? Nintendo.
That's very
Nintendo
true.
wants to mow down some specific people,
and they can.
They can. Yeah. They leaked their precious Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl to the masses. If you have those connects, you have those connects. If you can figure out where to get it, you can figure out how to get it. What are we thinking about this? It's on 4chan. Look on 4chan right now, if you want it. I'll wait till the 18th, but indulge. How are we feeling about this?
Anyone else who isn't me want to say anything? Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, I can't think of the last time an entire game leaked online ahead of its release date.
Yeah.
Can you guys think of another instance of this?
Example.
I'm trying to think. I do remember a game leaking, but I can't remember which.
There was a big PC game. Yeah. I can't remember.
It's also crazy that because we know enough to know that this came from a GameStop, right?
Yeah.
Taylor, is that speculation?
No, it's almost definite. Because it was leaked that people in GameStop were posting on 4chan when the games were shipped to them. They received them and they said, "Hey, we received it. do we post this? And people were like, "Oh yeah, you should, you should." And then everyone was bringing up the fact that Nintendo will sue the fuck out of
My
your
gosh.
ass. And
Yeah.
it is almost definitely a GameStop employee who leaked this.
The fact that it wasn't like an embargo break from a reviewer or something is shocking to me.
Cyberpunk leaked.
Did it? No. So like footage leaked, but this is the entire playable
Yeah,
game,
they-
right?
Oh,
Did
okay,
Cyberpunk?
you're right. You're
they
right. You're
put
right.
the
Yeah,
game
you're right.
online for
Footage
anyone. I have been watching gameplay videos from Japanese guys, American guys, Spanish guys. Doesn't matter. I've been watching gameplay videos all week of people playing through the game and revealing all the secrets and all the hidden stuff about the game, because they put the game online.
Yeah, that's wild.
Crazy.
I can't think of
2.
like Half-Life 2.
I just looked it up. Half-Life 2 leaked.
But that was such an early version of the game. That was like a year before release, right?
Oh, damn,
They-
that's not even.
they-
Wow, that's not even the same game at that point.
They had if I recall, they had time to change the game quite a bit.
That's
after.
exactly what they're saying right here. They said a Reddit comment saying that the whole game was leaked, including the source code. It resulted that the entire game was postponed another year.
right,
because of the
and then
leak for you.
and they changed a bunch of it. Yep.
That's
Damn.
crazy.
Yeah, this
I-
does not happen. This does not happen
No.
often. I did game leaking
Not at all.
early like this. That's
Especially
crazy.
under Nintendo's watch.
But I have to say it's weird that the game was made in Unity. The fact that it was made in such an accessible software, a Pokemon game, and this is I've said this earlier, but this is Pokemon. This is the Pokemon Company's first journey into getting another company to make one of its mainline games. Because Game Freak itself has made all of its mainline games. All of the side games it's given to other people, but all of its mainline games it's stuck to itself. This is the first time they gave it to someone else to make.
ILCA.
ILCA.
That's who's the developer.
And ILCA decided to make the game in Unity. And that seems suspicious to me. Because I've always felt like Nintendo is putting out their games, spoiler season, way ahead of schedule just to get some hype up. They especially Game Freak. Game Freak loves putting Pokemon games onto shady web forums and getting their special secrets out there to really hype up what is in the game. It's been their tactic since literally Red and Blue. When this is gonna sound weird, the Game Freak has a YouTube channel. It's got like 2,000 subscribers. It's so small, but Game Freak has a YouTube channel where they talk about how they made the games for Pokemon. And one of the things they say is they specifically put Mew in the games to create that hype around the games, where it was like a secret thing that you couldn't normally access, but you could hack it into the games. If you knew the codes, if you knew like how to do it, you can put it in the games. And it worked. It really hyped up the games. And I think they still do that. So I wouldn't be super surprised if some of these leaks, if the whole game leak was actually perpetrated by Game Freak itself. That's just a theory. But I would not be surprised if Nintendo or Game Freak itself was trying to put these games out there as a way of hyping the game. Because
I like that.
personally, myself, I didn't care about these games at all. I liked Diamond and Pearl when they came out because those were the last games I've played before I outgrew Pokemon. And I was like, I don't really want to play them again if they're just going to be the same games. But now that I've seen the whole game, pretty much, on display for me instead of just advertisements. I hate advertisements for games. They're always so fake. But now that I've seen the actual gameplay of the game, I'm like, the developers who made and programmed and art designed this game actually put a lot of love and care into it. the way your character moves, the way the Pokemon are animated, the story elements, how they've been updated or integrated into the Switch era. I'm like, the game devs put their heart into this, which I didn't expect. I thought this was just a cash grab. So now that I've seen it all, I have a different perspective of how the game is, and I'm suspicious of that, but I'm definitely gonna buy the game.
I it's funny because you started saying like, why did they make this game in Unity? And I, it going down this path of like, this is the most interesting Pokemon to you that's come out in a number of years. I feel like these two things are the same answer, right? It's like it sounds like these games are outgrowing the proprietary tools that Game Freak has been using.
Absolutely.
And so when they give it to another studio and they're like, okay, so what are you going to make the game on? The studio says, well, we look at your tools and we're familiar with Unity already. I think we could do a lot more with Unity.
Yeah.
So we're gonna use Unity, and we're gonna be able to make a better product because of that, because of these outsourced tools that are more advanced. But it's gonna be hackable.
Yeah, absolutely. Which
Eminently
is
hackable.
which is good for Pokemon. Ultimately, for the culture of Pokemon, it is good that the games are hackable. But I brought up a while ago, and I'm gonna bring it up again. Is Game Freak is and Ben, you agree with this? Even though we come at it from different perspectives, Game Freak wasn't prepared for 3D. They just weren't. And realistically, and it's come out fairly recently that Game Freak was still planning on making pixel art games for the majority of their Pokemon franchises, but Nintendo came down on them and said, nope, you gotta make 3D games. And the reason they're so underwhelming is because they just don't have the staff to do that. They don't have the programmers or the 3D artists to make those games a reality, because they're kind of trying to play catch up to Mario or Zelda, who had the teams, who had the knowledge, who had the forethought to make this. Pokemon, for some reason, was left in the dust, and they're still trying to catch up.
How long have they been making 3D games though? It seems like it's been a while.
Well,
Didn't they make Stadium?
Say again?
Didn't they make Stadium?
No. All of their non, like, red, blue, gold, silver, ruby, sapphire, all those games are Game Freak. Everything else, Stadium, Coliseum, XD, those are made by extra studios.
I mean, like, those games were good.
Yes, but they're not
Like,
Game Freak.
I just don't understand why they never expand. Like, why did that stop? I never understood that.
Those studios are closed. The studios that made Stadium and Coliseum are closed. They don't exist anymore.
But they have all those assets though. Like, it's not like
they're lost to the ether. No,
but you know what I'm saying though. Like, they skipped the Wii. They just said, we're not even going to make a Pokemon game for the Wii. We're not going to do it.
When they were making a game for the 3DS, they were going to make it pixel art, but Nintendo came in and said you can't. And that's why if you play, and I feel so bad. You have to feel for the artists who work for Game Freak, because you have these really specialized pixel art artists who did a great job. I was talking last week about how one of my favorite RPGs is Pokemon Black and White 2. The pixel art in those games is so meticulously crafted. It's beautiful. And then the next game, they were told, you're not doing anything for us anymore. You've worked for us for, like, your entire lives, and now you're not doing anything. It's why Pokemon still implements a tiny, tiny bit of pixel art into every single one of their games. You play any 3D Pokemon game, there's a menu somewhere, or there is a Pokemon avatar somewhere that is in pixel art, because they still have all these people who have been with the Pokemon company for so many years. But Nintendo came in and said you can't do pixel art anymore, you got to do 3D, fire these people. Game Freak was like, well, we don't want to fire these people because they kind of made us, and they are the people who are responsible for like most of the designs for our Pokemon. So we have to keep them on with their talents in some way.
I don't understand why. Why does Nintendo not realize what they have and start throwing money at this? There should be more money should be poured into Pokemon than should be poured into Assassin's Creed. Honestly, frankly, almost Grand Theft Auto. They should have that kind of money going to Pokemon.
I think the answer is real easy, Cole. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. These games sell so much. Like, if the game is selling so much, and I'm not even sure if it's even Nintendo per se, it has to be Game Freak as well, because Game Freak, it's the only franchise that Nintendo doesn't fully own, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, Game Freak has a say in it, and I'm sure that the say is, if these games are going to sell 15, 20 million copies anyways, why are we going to pour this money in so it can sell the same exact thing?
Well, because it's like, think if Rockstar had done that.
We wouldn't have bought it.
Oh, they all were there. Those games were selling great. 3, Vice City, and San Andreas selling great. And
But
it wasn't
if
until
they
they
come up with a game, if Grand Theft Auto 4 looked like San Andreas, we wouldn't be buying it.
no, but it could.
it would
They
be
didn't
reviewing
have to go to the.
horribly.
But with 4 and 5, they didn't have to go to the links that they went to.
Here's-
Even with Red Dead, they could have
here's-
still sold a lot.
Here's my
But like,
thought.
it's like if Pokemon makes that jump, they can bring in even more money.
Here's my
Because
thought.
Pokemon still doesn't have a game that's the single best-selling game or piece of media ever, and maybe they could.
Here's my thought. Okay, so Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are remakes of games, and the people who worked on them clearly like the games. They put a lot of love into them, and I'm really impressed at what they've done with the games. They look amazing. They look really amazing for remakes of DS games. But Pokemon Arceus, which is coming out in January, I'm gonna hedge my bets and say it might not be the most impressive Pokemon game ever, because this is the game. Pokemon Arceus is the game that the Pokemon Company and Game Freak have really been focusing their eyes on. Everything else has been kind of superfluous. They have been making this game because I have read interviews where they said the best game they've ever played was Breath of the Wild. They are trying their best to take the Pokemon formula and put it into that Breath of the Wild system. I know it's not going to be like that. It's still going to be based around you unlock things through gyms, you unlock things through level up, you unlock things like that. But that's what we've come to expect from Pokemon. So I think it's gonna fit there nicely. And I think you're gonna have this nicely open world that you can explore and fight Pokemon with. It's gonna be Monster Hunter, but with Pokemon, I know, but I think they're putting their best people on it, and their best people are still playing catch up because they were still making pixel art games, and they were forced out of it by Nintendo.
It just doesn't make sense. I get the reasoning. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Because Breath of the Wild was not just developed by Nintendo's main team. It was also co-developed with the company who made Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand how Nintendo just, and I'm sure it's not just Nintendo, I'm sure it's Game Freak who owns, I believe, the majority of Pokemon. I might be wrong on that. But it just seems like there's no help. It's just their internal teams. When this doesn't work for the majority of games, all games have these outsourced materials. Like, I don't get why Pokemon, everything has to be internal. It all has to be made by Game Freak, except for in this case. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I hate to pull Alfredo into this because he's not here, but you look at Pokemon's style, and I saw a meme recently that was, look at there are this many Fire Emblem characters. There's 718 Fire Emblem characters, and there are 816 Pokemon characters, and they both have a 1.1% usage in Smash tournaments. So it was like everything's perfectly balanced between these. There's so many characters in Fire Emblem, and there's so many characters in Pokemon. But I bet you as an average consumer can name a lot more Pokemon characters than you could Fire Emblem characters.
For sure.
Exactly.
What's a Fire Emblem?
Who cares? Pokemon exists. You sit there and Pokemon is in a great position when it comes to advertising itself, because you don't really have to try hard. There is something inherently fun about collecting things, and Pokemon itself. That's another story. I forgot to bring this up, but Nintendo's profits came out last week. Nintendo's profit charts came out last week, and do you want to know what they made a shit ton of money on? Cards. Literal playing cards for Pokemon. They made a majority.
That's where they started too.
That's where they made a majority of their money, like last year, was just playing cards. Because Pokemon is collectible. Even if it's in game form, even if it's like they are increasingly making Pokemon more unique and more NFT-like. We were talking about this a little bit last week. They're making Pokemon slowly more unique, where your Pikachu is more worthwhile than someone else's Pikachu because of all these little tiny math details that are in there. And if Nintendo and Pokemon are making money off of the card game, they're going to continue to make money off of the actual physical game, and the game is just there to support the cards, and the cards is just there to support the game. It's this never ending like feed of just money that Nintendo has access to, and of course they're not going to put too much money into it because they don't need to put too much thought into it. They put barely any thought into Pokemon for Pokemon Go, and it was the most popular game ever played on the iPhone. They don't need to try.
I was watching this movie called The Big Short.
Okay.
And there's this idea in The Big Short of too big to fail. Because in the end, the banks, the economy crashed. Thousands of people were out of jobs, but I think there was 2 arrests and, all the banks, I think one bank went under. But besides that, everybody else came out fine. Pokemon is too big to fail. It's one of those franchises in video games that is just too big to fail.
We're going to short Pokemon. Let's short Pokemon.
This is short. But look, Pokemon, it's in that Mario, Zelda, GTA.
No.
I think you can add maybe an Uncharted to it.
No, it's not. And I, as much of a Pokemon fan as I am, I have
I'm not saying quality. I'm not talking about quality.
Quality-wise, yeah, Mario and Zelda actually put the fucking effort in. Pokemon never does.
Right.
Never.
But it's too big to fail. That's my point. Like, it's in that too big to fail category where I don't know many franchises that can release just average games and get a 9 out of 10 on IGN. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not many franchises that can just get like Pokemon has gone through just low periods, and it's still just like it's still gonna sell.
This is something I've thought about recently. Pokemon is the RPG version of Call of Duty. Or a sports game like FIFA or Madden, where they are just these repeat garbage games with one genre in mind, and they just
I think more Madden than Call of Duty, because Pokemon has no competitors.
No.
There's literally no competitor. Like Call of Duty, at least, like Call of Duty can't shit out something because there's always at least one shooter out to compete with it. So they can't just shit a broken game out.
Sure.
Well, Pokemon, I can't think of the Digimon games. Like, I don't know any competitors to the Pokemon game. It is literally just release this thing. Some people are gonna criticize it, but there's gonna be 10 million sales.
I'm gonna be honest though. Pokemon is such a simple formula. I don't think they've ever put a broken game out.
No, no, they haven't. I don't believe so. I don't believe they have
As
either.
much complaint, and again, I would say that from a producer perspective, Pokemon is logistics nightmare. It really is. It's you have 968 Pokemon. You've got each of those Pokemon have like special abilities. Each of those Pokemon have it it just fractals out into all these numbers that need to be taken care of. From a logistics perspective, Pokemon is a nightmare because they're trying to balance too many things. Call of Duty has a few things to focus on, a few base mechanics, a few gameplay elements, a few settings elements that they need to focus on, and
Right.
they can make a good game. Pokemon is a nightmare. Just because they're trying to make it into like a competitive thing, and it does. Every year there's a competition in Hawaii, and people make good money playing Pokemon competitively in a way that I don't think Call of Duty players do. It's very weird. It's easy yet hard at the same time. Because they're trying to balance a game system along with making a perfectly substantial RPG.
Yeah, but it's all iterative, right? I mean, it's not 800 new Pokemon every game,
True, true.
so it's all building off what came prior. I mean,
And you
I
would
think the
think that they
analogy to
would
these
keep
yearly
them.
was that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I think the analogy to these yearly releases of sports games and Call of Duty is pretty apt, but I would say that the quality bar is generally higher on Call of Duty per release and FIFA,
Yeah.
and probably not. Maybe Madden is the best comparison. I think that's kind of the point that Thomas was making, is that Madden probably is the best comparison because of the way that it's not driven by its competition to step up at least somewhat. So it has that feeling of recycled, recycling the things that are good and failing on the things that are new.
That's very true and fair. And that is why I have to give a shout out to, and I doubt they're watching, but the team that worked in Unity to make
Jane.
Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Because I have now seen all of the extra effort you put in. When people first heard about this game, when I first heard about this game, I thought that's a cash grab. That is, I mean, it still is, but I just thought that's Nintendo putting the bare minimum effort in. But when I see what these developers and programmers and designers have done to this game, I can't help but look at it and say, people who didn't care about this game didn't work in this game, because this is a soulful, loving example of what Pokemon is. They put their all into this game. They designed every little corner of this game has something special in it. And I really, even if Pokemon's a cash grab, this game, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, haven't played it yet, but from what I've seen, I have to give credit to the developers, because they really put the effort in,
Well,
where Game Freak would not have.
best credit you can give to the developers is buying the game instead of pirating it.
For sure.
even
For
though
sure.
even though it's available right now
I
online.
am going to buy Brilliant Diamond on the 19th, and I will play it. I will stream it. Heck, fuck, we'll all stream it. Who cares? Stream it on our page. Come watch us stream
It should be on my doorstep on the 18th, which means I'll be out of town, so hopefully no one steals it. But yeah, I cannot wait to play it. And all the negativity that I was speaking about Pokemon, I am looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Arceus is. I'm looking forward to both of these games. I If they hit this one out the park and they hit Arceus out the park, I think Pokemon's going to be lined up for a pretty good position going into next year. I hope they do.
I can't tell you how nervous I am about Arceus. I cannot begin to explain, because I will tell you, spoilers, all the leakers who were right about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, all the people who were inside Nintendo leaking information, all those people who got dredged up, they're also leaking stuff about Pokemon Legends Arceus. And
I've seen screenshots.
and they were right about everything about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. They were right about every little extra thing in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So everything they're saying about Pokemon Arceus is true. And I think that means Pokemon Arceus is going to be amazing. But I really can't know until I'm playing the game in January. And that feels too far away. I feel like it should be out now. But
I feel like Pokemon is, and we can end it here, but I feel like Pokemon is needing a Game of the Year contender style game, which I don't think we've had since maybe the original Red and Blue. Maybe it would be. I would have to really think about it.
do you want to know what the most expensive Pokemon games are?
You see how expensive they are
Yeah. Do you want to know which ones are the most expensive
to make, or how much they
to buy
sell?
to buy right now? Classically,
Oh, okay.
which games have been out? Pokemon Colosseum and XD for the GameCube. By game developer Sonority, which is a defunct game developer right now, but they nailed Pokemon. They made Pokemon such an intriguing game. Those games are so popular and so sought after because no one played them when they were out, but they were such good games. Now people are going back to them. They're like $200 a disc.
Damn, I traded that in.
They're so I mean, they're good games. Pokemon XD and Colosseum are good games.
They didn't have good stories, but they were good games.
They were
They're
fun
very
to
good
they were
games.
fun to play. They made Pokemon at least somewhat entertaining.
Well, hopefully Game Freak and what's the name of the company?
ILCA.
ILCA. Hope y'all do Pokemon justice. And hope we did you justice this evening. Thank you for listening or watching the Dukes of Gaming podcast. Again, you can listen to us on your favorite podcast service or watch us on YouTube or watch us live on Twitch. Definitely peep us there. Leave a like, a review, a comment, anything to help support the show. You can even email us at therealdukesofgaming@gmail.com to have it read live on air. All of our socials are in the description. We'll be coming at you next week with some hot takes. Hit the bell as well for notifications on when we release our latest videos on YouTube. We post everywhere, so make sure you stay tuned and start your week right with the Dukes of Gaming. I bid thee farewell.